And coming up on the show, the International Monetary Fund grants 25 nations debt relief excluding Nigeria. IMF Executive Board approves $1 billion in emergency for Ghana and $442 million for Senegal to address the COVID-19 pandemic. And South African Central Bank cuts repo rate by 100 basis points to 4.25%. Thank you for joining us and welcome to Business Incorporated. I'm Chimezie Obi Iwagu. We begin with the intraday numbers, and it's all green amongst markets we track here in Africa. The markets in Nigeria and South Africa resumed trading today after the Easter holiday. The NSE All-Share Index was up 0.24% at intraday. The JSE index in South Africa was up 1.20% after the central bank cut its main lending rate by a further 100 basis points, bringing the rate to 4.25% after moving forward its Monetary Policy Committee meeting scheduled for May. In a statement, the South African Reserve Bank did not give a reason for moving forward the MPC meeting. The unexpected rate cut comes after the bank slashed rates by 100 basis points in March in response to the economic impact of the coronavirus. In Egypt, the index was also up 0.62%. Kenya closed positive on Thursday, the last trading day before the Easter break. And in the Middle East, most Gulf stock markets rose at intraday in line with gains in oil prices and Asian shares after some countries tried to restart their economy by partly lifting restrictions aimed at containing the coronavirus pandemic. Saudi Arabia's benchmark index added 0.86%, with Saudi Telecom rising 1.2% and oil giant Saudi Aramco gaining 0.2%. The Qatari index traded 1.15% up, with all stocks on the index trading in the green. In Dubai, the index advanced 2.89%. Emirates NBD Bank leaped 3.4%, while Emma Properties gained 2.5%. The Abu Dhabi index rose marginally 0.09%, driven by a 1.5% increase in the country's largest lender, First Abu Dhabi Bank. In Europe, markets traded higher in the morning as investors look for an exit strategy to the region's coronavirus lockdowns. Italy and Spain among those that have been some of the worst affected by the coronavirus are now looking to lift some restrictions on public life as the number of new infections and daily deaths has declined. Well, let's bring in my colleague in Frankfurt, Ulrich Batz, to update us on the market. Hello, Ulrich. Good afternoon and welcome back after the Easter holiday. The markets in Europe started the day on a positive note after the holiday. That is the picture. What is the picture looking like now? What influence did the better than expected trade figures have coming from China have?
They're certainly about one half of the picture because, sure, the exports plunged. A huge number there, but plunged only half as dearly as people had feared. And so there's some hope that's emanating from that maybe the impact of Corona on business, on profits, on corporations, on the economy, on people employed in the economy are not as great as maybe could be feared. The other half, you already mentioned it, hopes that coronavirus was slowly starting to become at least less worse, restrictions perhaps being lifted in major countries like Germany, for example. The discussion is ongoing. We're expecting details on that tomorrow, perhaps not firm information, but a lot of hopes are pinged on that. When you see the DAX behind me, I have to explain that picture. It's a straight line from about 9:24 in the morning to just after 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And that is because the Cetra system, the technical trading system here for computer trading, was down. It was down for an extremely long length of time. I really can't remember myself when it's been down for such a long period of time. Perhaps it has, but you know, there are not that many traders anywhere here in the floor, but they were basically twiddling thumbs, trading on a second system, of course, but not nearly with the same volume that they would have if the main system had been installed, had been in place and had been working. Having said that, Frankfurt is doing better at 1.2% plus 10,700, over 10,700 points than most of the other European markets. London is down, Milan and Paris are up by only a fraction.
An earnings season starts today. With coronavirus behind and ahead, it will likely be one to remember. What can we expect?
I think you can expect some shocks. I think you can expect some pleasant surprises. And if you will, an example for both those scenarios in one company, in one stock, is JP Morgan Chase. They released just a little while ago their first quarter, basically ringing the bell for the opening of the earnings season. And the profit plummeted. That's not unexpected. Bad loans really tearing down those profits. They're plunging by 2/3. For the first quarter to just $2.9 billion. But it's still a profit. JP Morgan, not only the biggest bank in the United States, but also one of the most profitable in the world. And the other side of the picture, defaulting loans, the main reason for that fall in profits, and JP Morgan Chase putting a lot of money into its hands to boost loan provisions for the future, boosting those provisions by $6.8 billion. And I think you'll see more results like this, possibly a lot worse. I don't think a lot better, a lot of them better. And analysts will have a really tough time interpreting those numbers. This has been the first quarter, one heck of a quarter. I don't know, it's a historical quarter. And I think a lot of analysts won't really be able to make foreseeable forecasts. It's such a difficult situation at the moment for everyone here in the markets.
And it's more drama from and for the airline industry, even the biggest players fighting for survival at the moment. And this news yesterday on Easter Monday, Polish airline holding company PGL announcing it will not take over German holiday airline Condor. Tell us more.
Yeah, Condor is a small but formerly profitable airline. It was a part of Thomas Cook, the gone bust travel company from the UK, an industry giant, and Condor was basically pulled down into the mire along with Thomas Cook. And it was supposed to have been bought up by PGL, which is the parent company of LOT, the Polish airline, PGL, a Polish holding company. But of course, with the disruption in air travel, LOT is in huge trouble itself. The Polish Treasury Minister just said recently that he was expecting that the Polish state had to help out. And so PGL has just canceled that takeover. Now Condor is up in the air. There are some scenarios the German state can pull in to rescue. That's what the VC, the Pilots Association here in Germany, would like to see the state stepping in, saying Condor is a good airline. It had been basically pulled down by having to transfer a massive amount of cash to its former parent unit, Thomas Cook. Lufthansa is seen in the long run as a possible buyer. But of course, Lufthansa also in trouble, lots of speculation, them needing state help from the state themselves.
All right, thank you very much, Ulrich, for updating us on those news developments there. See you again tomorrow and enjoy the rest of the day.